Hi, I'm Christian Posta, the global field CTO at solo.io. I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about AI and AI agents and networking and some of the problems that we're going to need to solve if we're going to take AI into production in enterprise organizations. So we've been trying to modernize and improve our architectures and our applications for the last 30 or 40 years, going from mainframes and large monolithic systems to distributed systems, microservices, and even the architecture for the infrastructure that these applications live on. We've been adopting containers and cloud. The next shift, very big shift in technology, is around AI. Now, organizations are looking to adopt AI. They're not quite sure how or how it fits. But what it's going to do is bring natural language and more emergent behavior to our applications to be able to deal with scenarios that we didn't really plan for. And if you're building customer-facing systems, you know that customers are not predictable. They come in with all kinds of interesting asks and things that you didn't plan for. And these agentic large language model-based systems are very good at dealing with unstructured, unpredictable, or unpredicted scenarios. So the way that organizations are going to start bringing in AI is probably through some custom chat systems. Right? So you have some chatbots. You might bring in frameworks that are specifically oriented around building AI agents. So we'll call this chat. You might have something like Crew AI or LangGraph, we'll just call it Lang. Maybe if you're on Kubernetes, you're looking at the K-agent framework for building agents on top of Kubernetes. And now you're starting to deploy them. You're starting to put them out in front of your customers or your internal users. Now these systems, they need to talk to AI models. So we'll just put an LLM up here, and this could be hosted or self-hosted. It doesn't matter at the moment. These different AI applications or agents, they need to connect out to external systems to pull information, either databases or knowledge bases or existing APIs that exist in the enterprise, either to pull information, reference information for context to eventually send to the LLM, or to take actions, right? So we're gonna, down here, we'll just call these things tools. And enterprises will have a number of these back-end tools. And the AI applications, they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna need to call into the LLM to give it a prompt, to give it information, ask it to do something or reason about something. But it's also going to need to call into these tools to pull back reference information and so on. Now you can see what these applications are doing. They're communicating over the network. They have to communicate over the network. They're sending natural language prompts, and this is quite a bit different than a typical AI or API call like we might see in a microservices environment. These prompts are usually very large. They contain information in them that is potentially sensitive or harmful. Since they're very large, we kind of have to manage their resource quotas, like the back-end LLMs. They have certain quotas, and we have to manage things like rate limiting. So because these systems are communicating over the network, we at Solo, which we've been building cloud networking for quite a long time now, have a nice fit into where we can try to solve these problems. So from a agent standpoint, calling out to LLMs, we can enforce security, we can enforce guardrails and observability. For the agents that are talking out to the various applications or tools in the enterprise, there's that also has a change from traditional REST APIs. Those calls end up being performed over new protocols like MCP, which was released by Anthropic, and A to A or agent to agent from Google and now Microsoft. And those protocols are quite a bit different than REST. They don't really take into account security. They don't really take into account guardrails and tracing and observability. So to get a system like this running in production in an enterprise, we need to start to think about how do we solve those problems.